The 2025 Spanish Grand Prix. After the disaster of last week's Monaco GP that got George Russell and Max Verstappen suggesting to make it a Mario Kart race, and saw the second coming of Michael Schumacher because of how agonizing it was for him to watch, we arrive at Catalunya, the final race of this European triple header, and what a finale it is. A great classic fixed racetrack, and one of my favorites, with some thrilling neck-snapping turns, especially after the change to the last sector. And most importantly, it produces brilliant races on the regular. Need evidence? Just look at 2012, where Pastor Maldonado of all people won in a Williams whilst fending off two world champions in superior cars. 2016, where and Max Verstappen won his first race. Or even just last year, where we had a ton of great on-track battles. But that's not all, because this is a very important weekend from a technical perspective. Because if you've been following closely, everyone has been waiting for this since it's the race the FIA promised would put an end to the flexi wing controversy, and if it delivers on this, the championship battle could get even tighter, as the teams have seized the opportunity to introduce about 5,000 upgrades, and as you might have noticed, Sauber went absolutely ballistic, which is the literal definition of polishing a turd. And it's also Sainz and Alonso's home race. I'm so sorry Alonso, you do not deserve this. But before I review the weekend, we have some things we need to discuss, like the F1 Academy Netflix series coming out, which has got to be the worst thing I've ever witnessed since like 9/11. Okay, that was obviously a joke, because I didn't witness it. I don't even have a Netflix subscription. And I'm not just dunking on it because
women.
But rather because this show is the most forced thing I've ever seen. Like, not only is the series it's based on really bad, but it literally is doing the drivers in it a disservice more than anything, because the F1 teams, which the whole point of this thing is to get one of these girls into, already barely pick rookies who have proven themselves no less, like F2 champions. Okay, maybe they have a good reason not to hire F2 drivers, but the point is, why would they ever pick an F1 Academy driver who is piloting an F4 car essentially, and whose only competition are other female drivers, in other words, has zero point of reference like at all? At that point, they might as well just start picking random people off the street. Oh, they already do that. And making a Netflix series about F1 Academy like this is even more ridiculous than what it's based on, because, well, who's watching this? At that point, why does Netflix just start making random fake documentaries about nothing? Oh, they already do that. And whilst putting more women into motorsports is cool, this just ain't it. Just like the W series wasn't, because it got shut down after like 2 seconds because no one gave a shit. And guess what? They still don't. And it's almost like doing the same thing and changing the name doesn't do anything. Like, call it the W series, the L series, F1 Academy, the Puss Women Only No Penises Allowed GP series. The point is, you're still only gonna sell 5 tickets, 3 of which are the drivers' family. The other 2 are the Max Verstappen and Michael Schumacher of diddling, if you're wondering, because god damn, these 2 just can't get enough of that sweet young. And it's not the women's fault, because this is the case for a lot of sports, like the WNBA. Splitting a series just leads to less viewership and therefore less funding. And this split doesn't really make sense in my opinion, because women are more than capable to compete at a high level anyway, as proven by Michelle Mouton in WRC. I mean, I'm pretty sure she didn't compete in the World Rally Coin Slot Only Championship as far as I know, but don't take my word for it, because I'm kinda just a little bit slightly retarded. But hey, in other exciting news, the new F1 game came out. Woo! Looks the same and costs $60. God damn, my pockets hurt, man. Either way, back to real F1, with Alpine celebrating 70 years since their inception by changing their logo, and close enough, welcome back Racing Point. They also introduced new racing suits for each of their drivers, and their creativity is honestly off the charts. Hats off to you, Alpine. Sauber are also celebrating something, probably finally doing a pit stop under 3 seconds if I had to guess. So they introduced these new racing suits along with this new livery. This new livery. And as you can see, it's very unique and distinctive and totally different. In Free Practice 1, Victor Martins was having his first go in an F1 car replacing Albono. Ryu Hirakawa, who was replacing Esteban, went off, Hamilton was blocked by Hadja, and Leclerc took revenge by blocking Lawson. The session concluded with Norris up in front, followed by Max and the 2 HP runners, and the Mercedes oddly out of place. Free Practice 2 saw Leclerc and Hamilton Tokyo drifting, with the latter then blocking Alonso and the former blocking Verstappen. And I don't know what's up with these 2 unblocking, but I'm starting to think some sort of Ferrari strats are at play here. Behrman spun massively, Gabi was getting used to his freshly painted John Deere, and so was Max, and we had 2 sets of identical lap times, which is kinda cool I guess. But it was Piastri who was fastest, with the Mercedes returning to their normal pace and Yuki all the way down in 13th. In FP3, Lando Norris was trying a shortcut. Oscar saw a saucy picture of Charles on his steering wheel.
I have something hard on my left leg of my seat.
Lewis Hamilton's printer ran out of ink, Liam Lawson went into the gravel and only dipped a wheel. In the end, McLaren remembered what car they're driving and went 1-2 by 7/10, with Yuki still struggling in 14th. In Q1 the lap times were competitive, apart from Piastri of course. Colapinto's car let him down sadly, so Noda set a horrible lap time that got him out already in dead last no less, which gave me flashbacks of a certain someone, but he might have just had floor damage to be fair. Sainz was also out in Q1, but somehow more devastating because it's his home race. Ocon was absolutely decimated by Oli, and Gabby was all the way up in 10th. As for Q2, McLaren were as fast as ever. Bortoleto and Albon almost made it to Q3, Hadjar cooked a bombshell of a lap, Stroll got owned by Alonso, but we all know that doesn't really matter because Lawrence could press the destruct button on his car at any moment to keep his son ahead in the championship, as he is known to do. Perman was out because he went with a used set, and everyone at the top didn't even bother with his second run. But in Q3, it was all to play for. And by all, I mean P3, because no one is beating these two except each other. And boy did they go for it, with Norris going faster than Oscar by just 17 thousandths in the first run. But on the second run, Piastri was the one ahead, and by 2 whole tenths, followed by Verstappen and Russell, with Leclerc disappointingly in 7th. It's now time for the race, except it's not, because Stroll's wrist that he busted 2 years ago started acting up, so he had to miss it. Which is how you know Stroll is the biggest hater of all time, because he let his team start with only 1 car instead of just speaking up like a day sooner, because it would have allowed Drugovich to be drafted in. But I guess he was scared it was gonna make him look bad if he got beat by him, but I'm all for it, because now Lawrence has no incentive to blow up Alonso's car. Anyways, the 5 red lights were out and Max, Russell and Piastri all had great initial starts, with Lando falling to 3rd. The 2 Ferraris also gained a few places, and Hulk gained a lot of places. And there was instantly a lot of battling in the midfield, which ended in tears because Albon got damage. A Maranello civil war then broke out, with Hamilton being told to swap about 5 years too late as usual. Norris overtook Verstappen, Alonso went off all by himself, something that has started to become heartbreakingly common. The first pit stop phase then began, which opened the door for a lot of undercuts and gave us pretty good overtakes, and by good overtakes I mean carnage, as an outright war broke out between Liam and Albon, which ended with Alex retiring because Williams ran out of the new spec front wings, and if that wasn't enough, he got a penalty after he came into the box. And what a disaster of a weekend for them. But the terrorists then went 2 for 2 by almost ending Behrman's race. Hannah Schmitz then decided to opt for the 3-stop, which put Max right back in the fight. And if you're a Spanish fan, I'm truly sorry, because on lap 44, Alonso and Sainz were 16th and 17th, which must have been the ultimate Spain without the S experience. Or maybe that experience goes to the Tifosi, as Hamilton was given a 5-second pit stop, dropping him straight behind the 2 Mercedes. The terrorist hasn't had enough, so he tried to blow up Behrman again, which almost ruined Norris's race. The Mercedes grenade then blew up for the 3rd weekend in a row, which brought a late safety car, under which Red Bull fumbled the bag by giving Max hards. This resulted in him almost binning it at the restart and getting overtaken by Leclerc and hit by Russell into turn 1. He then got told to give the position back on the radio and responded by doing the most shocking thing I've ever seen.
Just ran me off the road.
But that's the rules.
Oh!
I've done that before. In married.
Yeah, somebody take this guy's simulator, because there's no way you can just do iRacing shit like this in real life. This generously landed him 10 seconds when it really should have been a black flag. Driver of the day though, am I right guys? The race ended with a McLaren 1-2, followed by Leclerc, with Hülkenberg all the way up in 5th. And Alonso finally scored some points, and shout out to the Sauber strategists for fucking Gabby's race again. In the championship, the 2 McLarens continue to pull away. As for the constructors, Ferrari got both Red Bull and Mercedes to become 2nd in the standings. But anyways, I'm done talking about this Grand Prix. This triple header was absolutely excruciating and amazing at the same time, so please go watch the other videos, and see ya.